So this is my brain. As you can see, I have it color-coded by region. Here we have the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital, and temporal. And when you flip it over, they are in the same order. We have the frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. I purposely did it like this because I only have half of the brain, and I wanted to make it less confusing. So basically you remember, like, okay, this is the brain. On this side, it's the frontal lobe, parietal, occipital. And when you flip it over, it's still frontal, parietal, occipital. So let's get into the regions. I already kind of went over the names of each part of the brain, or each lobe, but let's go ahead and get into their function. So the frontal lobe is basically like the boss. It helps you make decisions, plan stuff out, and move your body on purpose. The parietal lobe is basically like your brain's GPS system. It helps it helps you figure out where your body is, like your arms and legs, where they are relative to the rest of your body, like without you having to look at where your foot is, you know that your foot is below the table. For the occipital lobe, this is basically like your body's camera. This takes in any visuals that you are seeing through your eyes and process it to understand what you're looking at. Lastly, we have the temporal lobe, and that is basically like your brain's audio recorder. It deals in hearing, memory, and understanding language. So this little guy here is going to be your angular gyrus, and he's going to be responsible for helping you read, write, and do math, and basically just understand what you're looking at. Next we have the superior temporal gyrus, and this guy is all about helping you understand what you're hearing and processing what people are saying. Next we have the middle temporal gyrus. Similar to the superior temporal gyrus, this guy helps you understand what you're hearing, and it makes sense of words, especially when they get a little bit tricky. So then we have the inferior temporal gyrus, and this one is good at recognizing like faces or objects or things that you particularly like your favorite snack. Then we have Helcher's gyrus. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But this is the very first place that when you hear something, this is the very first place that it goes to in order to begin its process in understanding what you're hearing. Next, we have the precentral gyrus, and this one is responsible for voluntary movement, like if you want to move your fingers or wiggle your toes. If it's voluntary, this is where it's being processed. Next, we have the postcentral gyrus, and this one is responsible for helping you sense like touch or pressure. If you have somebody like tap you on the shoulder so that you can turn around and look, this is the guy responsible for helping you process that feeling. Next, we're going to move on to the sulci. First, we're going to talk about the central sulcus, and this division here is basically responsible for dividing your brain's move area versus the feel areas. Then we have the lateral fissure. This basically just divides the brain's top area from the side area. Then we have the cerebral longitudinal fissure, which basically just goes all along the middle of the brain, dividing it into left and right. Then we have two really important areas. We have the Wernicke's area and the Broca's area. The Broca's area basically helps you form words and sentences and be able to communicate what you're feeling. And then the Wernicke's area is where you process what you hear from people saying or what you're reading, and you can kind of understand language. Now, if we turn the brain to the other side, we see the middle of it. And here I have half of my brainstem, and you can see the cerebrum cut in half. Now, the cerebrum is responsible for helping you keep your balance so that you don't trip over like while you're walking. And lastly, the brainstem is responsible for keeping you alive. It helps you breathe and helps regulate your heart rate. So that is my model of the brain. It's quite heavy actually. So my fingers are a little tired from holding it up, but I hope that you were able to find it helpful and that my model was a good representation of the brain.